just want to go back to it. So thanks, Cassie. So now that we introduced ourselves, we want to know a little bit more about you. So we are gonna launch a few polls. Cassie actually is gonna launch the polls because she's the host of that meeting now. And the first question we have for you is, what's your WashU affiliation? Yes, are you a student, staff, faculty, or non-WashU affiliated? Great, so it seems like most of us are students or staff, all of us actually. Next question is about suspense. Where are you joining us from? On campus, St. Louis, or somewhere else? Wow, so no one is actually on campus today. Interesting. Well, we will be on campus, but virtually. Great. A couple more questions are coming up, I believe. How much do you know about the Danforth campus? Have you never been? Do you only know the place you are used to use on a daily basis? Or you have explored all the corners and know the hidden gems? And if that's the case, we'll ask you to come forward with your favorite hidden gems. Awesome. So a third of us have actually explored a bunch. So I'm excited to hear, what are your favorite places on campus? And we may have a last question about, yes, if you have attended one of the previous Sustainable Living Series session. The first one was on waste 3 weeks ago, and then we hosted one on food 2 weeks ago, and last week was on energy. Nice. So we have a lot of regulars at this presentation, and welcome to the remaining 23%. And I'll pass it along to Brianna for the next part of the presentation.
All right, thank you, Clara. Next slide, please. So Washington University is committed to transforming the campus into a showcase of sustainable infrastructure, including buildings, landscapes, and pathways. The campus tour begins at the east end of the Danforth campus, the most recent and most significant transformation of campus to date. The new front door of the university aligns beauty, sustainability, functionality, history, and cross-disciplinary academic exploration. In September 2020, WashU actually received the simultaneous LEED Platinum certification for the 4 new buildings on the Danforth campus, which is an unprecedented accomplishment in higher education. The significant achievement was featured in a 25-page cover story in Architect Magazine, and Architect Magazine is actually considered the public voice of the architectural profession. Next slide, please. So the newly designed LEED Platinum buildings demonstrate WashU's commitment to creating spaces across campus that provide students, faculties, and visitors with healthy, sustainable places to live, learn, and work. The U.S. Green Building Council's LEED certification, and for those of you who don't know, LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, provides a framework for healthy, highly efficient, cost-saving green buildings. The Platinum designation is the highest LEED rating a building can receive. The other levels for ratings are certified, silver, gold, and ascending order on the LEED project checklist. 100 possible credit points are distributed across 6 credit categories: location and transportation, materials and resources, water efficiency, energy and atmosphere, sustainable sites, and indoor environmental quality. More points can be earned for innovation and design and regional priority. Points are allocated based on potential for good. More points for actions with the least environmental impact and most human benefit. To obtain a platinum rating, a project must score at least 80 points on the checklist. Next slide, please.
All right, so actually now we're going to get started with the tour. We're going to transition over to share my screen. So this will take us just a moment to get all this situated. Okay, so welcome to the virtual sustainability tour. This is a resource that we have available online. So it's actually something that if you're on campus, you can pull up and kind of do a self-guided tour, or if you're just feeling like you're missing campus or want to explore more, you can pull it up virtually anytime. It does have more stops than what we're going to go on today. So we've kind of picked our favorites here. So you'll see what our biases are, but you are welcome to go back at any time to explore these items further. And then can I just get a quick confirmation that you guys can see the tour fine? Everyone, okay, great. All right, so we are going to start with the Tisch Park, and Brianna is going to tell us about Tisch Park.
Yes, so the entire East End was an opportunity to carry out all the good lessons and policies we've developed over the last 10 years, making this a true representation of sustainable campus planning, design, and construction. So the part of the East End that I like the most is Tisch Park. So that's the front of Brookings, which has actually gone from this kind of muddy construction pit to a beautiful new campus scene for hanging out and studying. I haven't really been able to access Tisch Park that much due to COVID and the fact that I'm only a sophomore. But it's super usable and designed and built sustainably, which features like rain gardens, pervious pavement, hundreds of trees, and thousands of native perennials. Before construction began, hundreds of bushes, shrubs, and trees were carefully transplanted across main campus, our next stop, and some of that lumber was used for creating original furniture. The 5 newly designated LEED Platinum buildings demonstrate WashU's commitment to creating spaces that are truly sustainable.
All right, Clara, please share with us about Schnook Pavilion.
Yeah, so the Schnook Pavilion, also known as SHPAV, especially among students, is one of the 2 glass boxes on the East End campus, the one across from the Welcome Center. And it's actually the home of the Office of Sustainability, but that's not the only reason why this building is so awesome. The Schnook Pavilion is also home to the Environmental Studies program, who shares the floor with us. Some students here may actually have classes there, since there is a classroom on the 2nd floor. On the 1st floor of the building is the Parkside Cafe that offers compost collection, and is also one of the few locations on campus where you can request a reusable eco-to-go box with your meal, and Mandy will talk more about that later. On the lower floor of the building, Cassie, if you don't mind scrolling down a little bit so we can see the next photo, is the Active Commuter Hub, which provides showers, lockers, and bike parts vending machine for everyone who has an active commute. However, since we are still taking a lot of precaution to prevent the spread of COVID, right now the hub is temporarily closed. And the Office of Sustainability staff, as you may see from our backgrounds, we are still working from home as of today. It's been fine, but we definitely miss students and being part of a lively campus. So this building, like most of the other new buildings on the East End, is a green building and was one of the 5 buildings to receive the highest LEED certification back in September, as Brianna was telling us about. The building has low flow fixture on water outlets everywhere in the building, which allows the building to save more than 75,000 gallons of water every year. And there are solar panels on the roof, which reduce the energy cost of the building by 17%. And that's it for that one stop.
Okay, Mandy, please enlighten us about Weil Hall.
Yeah, so this is Weil Hall, the beautiful new front door to Sam Fox School of Design and Visual Arts, featuring the state-of-art digital fabrication studio nestled among graduate architecture studio, desks, MFA studios, and faculty offices. Pictured here is the absolutely must-visit Cooner Court, in my opinion, the best study place on campus. And this is a 30-foot living green wall and is a beautiful example of the building's biophilic design elements that integrate natural space in their built-in environment that have shown to lessen room noise, even improve the mental health of the space's users. At the top, you'll also see a shade canopy over the study area that filters daylight to reduce glare, and there are aluminum fins along the exterior glass walls of the building to provide shade, thus minimizing energy needed for cooling while preserving views and providing ample natural light.
Sorry. All right, our next stop is one of my favorite hidden gems, the Welcome Courtyard. And as you can see from the image here, it's just a beautiful location, and it's fun to watch at all times of the year. But there are a couple of interesting things at play here. So one is this interacts with the underground parking garage, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But because it's sunken, it creates a light source into the garage. And so you actually can exit the garage into this space. The serpentine path is full of hand-cut bricks, and it has a really lovely impact when you're there in person. And then one of the really neat things is there's this what's called a nurse log on one end of the courtyard. And so basically in a forest, when a tree falls, it becomes home for all of the fungi and the insects and all of these other biotic processes as it's being returned to the earth. And so they've taken one of the oak trees from the pre-construction site and allowed it to naturally decay here. And it's so in some ways it's a piece of art, and in other ways it's just a piece of the landscape. But I was there recently, and there's actually like these really great mushrooms growing on it. So it's just a really fun piece and a nice place to go to relax and enjoy the beauty. And then the next place we're going to talk about is that underground parking garage. I don't think I've ever or will ever be as excited about a parking garage as I am about this parking garage. So a couple of neat features. So this parking garage has a green roof. So the landscaping that you see on the west side of the East End is actually the roof of this facility. So there's a lot of good functionality happening there when you're able to take parking off of the surface level and drop it underground. You can catch stormwater runoff. The plants are going to be sequestering carbon and providing biotic value. So just a lot of interesting things happening there. The other cool thing is this was designed for a future in which cars don't exist. So when that future comes, the ceilings were built extra tall so that this could be retrofitted into classroom space. And we could add on HVAC systems and build out or build in classrooms to better utilize this space. I think that's all I wanted to Yeah, so just a super interesting and exciting approach to parking on campus. Okay, and next we're going to go on to Helmand Hall and Helmand's landscape, and Brianna's going to talk to us about that.
Thank you, Cassie. So the design of Helmand's landscape is actually incredibly intentional. In conjunction with the Booter Center for American Indian Studies, a portion of the landscape is designated as a sacred space for Indigenous people within the Washington community, as well as anyone else who would like to reflect in the space. So there's sage, sweetgrass, and cedar, and those are 3 plants of significance to many Native people from the region and are planted surrounding the circular bench cluster. There's also a rain garden that's carefully curated with plants that can withstand very dry and very wet conditions, while also including plants that encourage pollinators. So a very intentionally designed space.
It's fine.
Next up, please.
All right, so I actually did want to pause here. We've been through about half the tour, and I just wanted to see if folks had any questions or comments on anything that we've covered so far. And Claire, if you can maybe manage the chat or monitor the chat.
It's a designated.
Sure. We've had Erin sharing that the Welcome Courtyard is a stop for the campus shuttle, so you can hang out there while you wait, which is a really good point for whenever we go back to campus.
Awesome. Would anybody like to hop off mute and ask any questions or?
Yes, this is Edmund Acosta, and I have a question. Well, 2 of my favorite places are the Little Mermaid statue, which is in a little little garden area just to the very north of Brookings Hall. So this little statue is just such a cute little object, and it's a real change of pace every time we get to see her, and especially because my daughter, who's now 34 years old, grew up with the Little Mermaid on her mind so much of the time, and so she got to know the Little Mermaid that was at the north end of Brookings. And the second secret place, which is the observatory on the top of Compton Hall. The observatory where it is manned generally when campus is in full progress, and every evening except Friday evening. And I've been able to see the rings of Saturn from that observatory at the top of Compton Hall. And there is one other Little Mermaid statue in the St. Louis area. Does anybody know where that might be? It's in the Comedia House of Missouri Botanical Garden. She's the centerpiece, and there's a little fountain with a very similar statue. And I think the Comedia House Little Mermaid is, I think the 2 of them are sisters. So those are some of the gems from having been on campus for a long time.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for, I'll have to do a little treasure hunt or sculpture hunt next time I'm on campus or the Botanical Garden.
Yeah, next time.
Thank you. All right, so moving along to the Whispers Cafe and the sustainability dashboard. Brianna, go ahead and take it away.
Yes, so the sustainability dashboards are a great learning resource about sustainability on campus. There's actually another dashboard that's located on the 2nd floor of Schnook Pavilion, where, as you learned earlier, the Office of Sustainability is housed. So the sustainability dashboard's primary purpose is to connect prospective and incoming students, families, and visitors to the vast network of sustainability opportunities on campus across schools, departments, and disciplines. As such, the dashboard provides an interdisciplinary and comprehensive exploration of WashU's efforts to advance sustainability through teaching, research, operations, and community partnerships. One really fun part about the dashboard that I like is that there's kind of a test your knowledge quiz on topics ranging from climate change solutions to what can be recycled or not. So for instance, what saves more water, washing dishes by hand or with a dishwasher? You'll have to go check out the dashboard yourself if you can. I don't know if it's open during COVID times, but after COVID times, definitely go check out the sustainability dashboard. It's a project I worked on as an intern with the youth last summer, and it was a really fun time.
And just for clarification, it is not currently open, but we look forward to its resurrection after COVID. All right, Centennial Greenway, Clara.
Yeah, so a greenway is a trail or road set aside for both recreational use and environmental protection. And in the St. Louis region, we have not hundreds, but over 120 miles of greenways and many more miles that are under development. And most of these are actually managed by a local organization called Great Rivers Greenway. And on campus, we are super lucky to have a greenway that weaves its way through campus, connecting us with both super popular local amenities. On our east, the Forest Park, and on the north of campus, the Loop, which is a neighborhood where students spend a lot of time. The Centennial Greenway follows Forsyth Boulevard on the south of campus and then turns north and passes by the Olin Library, crosses Forest Park Parkway on the bridge, and then up Melville, through the Loop, and all the way to Vernon Avenue. And in the past few years, that infrastructure was upgraded with separated pathway for people walking and people biking. And the Greenway is just one of the many pathways on campus that include that separated pathway for biking and walking, which allows for a safer and more comfortable experience for all users. So I really encourage you to check out and to take advantage of that network of greenways. I know none of us are on campus right now, but check out the Great Rivers Greenway website. They have a whole interactive map showing all of the greenway, and I'm sure hopefully there is one nearby your place and you can explore it, whether it's to just explore new areas of St. Louis or exercise. That's it.
All right, this one is definitely a hidden gem, and I think many people walk by it without knowing what it is. When we were preparing for this tour, we actually took a poll of the students we were working with, and none of them actually knew it existed. So hopefully it's new to some of you all as well. So this is it's a restored prairie. It's very tiny. I forget the actual square footage, but it's definitely less than an acre, probably an eighth of an acre. And it's just a wild space. So in the middle of campus, a wild space. It has all native plantings and it requires no landscaping or landscape maintenance. I think they do some mowing maybe once a year to regenerate the prairie plants. But other than that, there's no irrigation or weeding or anything like that happens. And one of the reasons why this space was really conducive is because there's a very steep slope. So trying to have something like that in turf and mow it is actually quite dangerous for the landscape workers. So this is one of those win-win-win examples. And we also have 2 beehives that are maintained, I would say probably on and off, by a student beekeeping club.
Snowy Way Hill Meadow.
All right. Mandy, can you please tell us about the Recreation Center?
Yeah, so this is Sumner's, and it just opened for reservation, I think 48 hours in advance, but it's open now for those of you who want to go work out in a very nice place. This very nice place also has a really great green design. Not only is it LEED Platinum certified, 22% of its energy or electricity comes from this solar array on the roof. And this installation is super, oh yeah, and the installation made WashU one of the biggest on-site solar producers in the region, which is super cool. But this installation is super exciting for me because I got to climb up to the roof before the installation started as part of a recent internship. And this was before Reset became a class and was a 4-credit experience. Our mission was to do a solar study on the 40, which are the underclassmen dorms, and recommend to the administration how to solarize the South 40. I was on the engineering team, and in addition to learning how to design solar systems with a program called Helioscope, the president of the company, or president developing this project, Azimuth Energy, took all the Reset students on the roof to show us how panels are lifted, prepped, and installed. I also got to fly a drone over the AC, which was super fun. Reset is now a fall semester 3-credit course you can take, and has a classroom and project-based component. I know last year they helped with the Grow Solar program in St. Louis, which is really exciting. And yeah, and actually the drone that took the photo was purchased by the class, and hopefully if any of you guys decide to take it, you may get to use it. And another fun fact, the Rec Center hosted the 2016 presidential debate, so that picture of Donald Trump standing next to Hillary happened in this building. Yeah.
All right, now we're transitioning down to the South 40, where there are a network of student-run businesses. Clara, take it away.
So Bears Bike is, as Cassie just said, a student-owned business located on the South 40. And as you can imagine from their name, they offer bicycle services. They provide bike rentals, repairs, and storage services. You can also purchase an at-cost helmet for only $15. They have a storefront on the South 40 that is open on Tuesday and Thursday evening, I believe, and Sunday afternoon as well. If you want to purchase a bike, Bears Bikes wouldn't be the place to do that, but we recommend local nonprofit B-Works, which stands for Bicycle Works. And they sell refurbished and secondhand bikes. They're located in Soulard. And they also sell actually parts if you are like feeling like repairing your bike yourself, or safety gears also used, which is usually more sustainable and affordable. I personally used to ride my bike every day to work, and I absolutely loved it, and I miss it now. You just need to plan for your route and have your safety gears on. But yeah, St. Louis is pretty bikeable in the end, especially when you are when you prepare your route. So highly recommended.
All right, and next, the Swap Trading Post, Mandy.
This is definitely one of my favorite places to visit on campus. Always pop by after class. This trading post is a reuse and exchange store where anyone can donate, borrow, take goods at no cost, like a free thrift store. And it's run by Sharing with a Purpose, aka SWAP, a student-run organization operated. It's a 501c3 nonprofit. And they collect unwanted donated items during spring move out and resells them to incoming students on move-in day. So this year they sold items online for buyers to pick up and move in, and I think Clara and Cassie actually helped collect those post-COVID move out, so that was really great and helped to divert a ton of waste there. And they're actually open now from 6 to 4, so be sure to stop by to get some free dorm decor, essentials, school supplies, clothes. Super fun place.
Yeah, thanks for the shout out, Mandy. We seen a lot of nasty fridges, but they all found good homes. Okay, dining services. Yeah, Brianna and Mandy.
Yes. So if you are a student living on the South 40, you'll be dining a lot in Bear's Den, better known as BD. So my favorite meat-free dish at BD just comes from the pasta station, Pro tip, if you combine all 3 sauces, it tastes great. And there are just a lot of other great dishes at BD, and dining services as a whole does some really great things to make us more sustainable food choices. Across campus, our main dining provider is Bon Appetit, and they source from more than 40 local vendors, resulting in 22% of our food being locally grown, processed, or prepared. Our coffee meets or exceeds fair trade standards. Our eggs and ground beef are certified humane. Our seafood is selected from the Monterey Bay Aquarium Seafood Watch guidelines, and all meat stations have vegetarian options, and that makes it super easy to have a plant-forward diet. I would encourage everyone to check out the Sustainable Food Guide, which was developed by the OOS, to learn more about the impacts of your various food choices. So on the waste side, you can prevent waste by requesting an eco-to-go box. Disposable, compostable to-go boxes are available otherwise. When you get to campus, you'll want to familiarize yourself with the waste sorting system, or since you are probably on campus, that's a great thing to do. And compost collection is available now in all of the main dining areas, and there's recycling everywhere. And Mandy's going to explain the new rollout of the reusable to-go box system.
So I actually got one today while I was in BD. This program is called Eco2Go, and it's a program actually started by a student group on campus called Net Impact, and was made widely available by BD and not BD, Dining Services in the Office of Sustainability, to help reduce the use of single-use packaging because of COVID. So these reusables are completely safe, reusable, sustainable dining ware option, and the logistics of this program are still getting worked out, but you should be able to request them via Grubhub or in person in BD, the Duck, Village, and Parkside, aka SPAV. But when you're done, make sure to return them to these red boxes. They're labeled Return Eco2Go here. Pretty hard to miss, but yes, you should always return them. Just empty them and bring them back as soon as possible. And because it's free, the program depends on everyone returning the containers. So make sure to do that and we can keep the program running.
All right, 2 more very special stops. Burning kumquat. Mandy.
Yay. Okay, so Maya is actually here today, who is exec for Burning Kumquat, but it is a student-run organic farm on the South 40 and serves as a space for everyone to learn, celebrate about sustainable food, urban farming, and the St. Louis food industry. Pre-COVID, BD shared their delicious fresh produce at pop-up markets around campus, but this super innovative group came up with like an online farmers market that is live now, and they also have like pickles and fresh produce and garlic scrape pesto, super exciting, and you can pick up at their garden. You should definitely do that. And yeah, I'll put the link in the chat in a second. But another fun fact about this garden is that BK, it was founded by a group of students in 2007 with funding by the Student Sustainability Board. That runs the Student Sustainability Fund. There's $5,000 in the Student Sustainability Fund, and it's for student projects that students come up with for students. So if you have any ideas, you should check it out.
All right, and finally, the butterfly garden.
Yes, so this is one of my favorite spots on campus. The Butterfly Garden was created as a service project by the Women's Club of WashU to honor Elizabeth Ibby Gray Danforth, the wife of former Chancellor William H. Danforth. The garden is a quiet, restorative place on campus that includes many native trees and shrubs, a variety of flowering plants, benches, and picnic tables. The garden provides a habitat and food that Midwestern butterflies, which are declining in number, need for all stages of their life. It was recently certified as a monarch way station habitat. During the growing season, it is teeming with butterflies, pollinators, and birds. And actually, one of my last best memories from campus, it was maybe the first week of March. I was sitting in the butterfly garden reading outside with my friends. So I really love that spot. And would recommend checking it out if you're on campus. The Women's Club works in the garden every Tuesday morning from spring to fall. Feel free to, post-COVID, stop by, say hello, and volunteer.
Awesome. So that wraps up the highlighted stops. There are, I believe it's 24 stops in all. So feel free to check out that whole tour at a later date. I'm going to stop sharing, hopefully, if I can get Zoom back up. And we'll open it up for questions. Feel free to hop off of mute and ask a question. We're also, go ahead.
Did you consider the coffee shop that is directly to the west of the quadrangle? Holmes Lounge. Did you consider Holmes Lounge as being one of our hidden gems?
So, well, that might be a hidden gem, unless you know something I don't. We don't consider, or I don't know of anything that would set that apart from a sustainability perspective.
Okay, there is an eating space there, so perhaps. Okay, thank you very much. Got it. It's a gem, nevertheless.
It definitely is not sustainable. Well, never mind. But they do have like jazz on Thursdays during normal years. Definitely check it out next year.
Well, there used to be a cotillion there every year, which was special a long time ago. One more question with respect to LEED certification. We had to achieve 80 points, correct? At least 80 plus in order to get the platinum. What were some of the favorite point getters from each one of you?
Like, what are some things that we just like the most?
Yeah.
I'm really partial to the landscape features. So being able to have landscape that is connective to Forest Park and provides space for the biotic community. I think that's probably one of my favorites.
Thank you. That's good.
I would say that I'm pretty familiar with Helmand Hall because the Office of Sustainability has a partnership with a program called the College Prep Program, and I actually helped give a tour of Helmand Hall last summer, and that whole building is just very intricately designed to be sustainable. For example, there's one floor that's connected to the dining hall area, and it's all reclaimed wood. There's another floor that's recycled glass. So I think Helmand Hall is just a very good example of an intentionally designed sustainable building.
Thank you. Wow.
I'd like to give the mic to Thomas and Mia, who have their hand raised.
Hi, this is Tom Dodzilla and my wife Maya, class of 1986. We haven't been on campus in 20 years or more. My question would be, it sounds great about all these recycling programs. What's the percentage of trash that is recycled or composted or really sorted and not just ending up in the, in a landfill? Thank you.
Sure. So we have a diversion goal of, I'm trying to picture the number in my head, but I think it's 40, no, it's 55%. We're almost there. We're in the 40s, the high 40s. Everything that we collect for recycling these days is recycled, so we're not having issues with contamination such that it would be rejected. But by and large, our recycling rate is around 44%, I believe. And we also do a lot of composting as well.
So when back in the 80s, when we went to school there, the first area, the area in front of Brookings Hall was lined with trees and fields. I mean, just plain old grass, right? Now the art school was still there, and a couple of other buildings started popping up. What was the time frame for these projects, like the underground parking garage? When was that started? the wall, the living wall, those type of projects, because they sound super neat. Something like we would love to do in our next house, right? If we could ever afford it. But what's the time frame? When does this all start? 10 years ago? 5 years ago? Thank you.
Yeah, the incredible part is the East End transformation is, I think, Chancellor Wrighton's legacy project. So it's only been 3 years. So I'm not sure how long planning was. I think planning was maybe like 2 years, but they kicked off this tremendous feat of building 5 buildings, an underground parking garage, and completely transforming that space in a very short amount of time. So we're excited about it. It's all very new to us as well. So we've been in the Schnook Pavilion for just over a year. I think we moved in July, late July of last year. So it's all still very new to us. And definitely worth the visit back.
Hey, I've got a question. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Erin.
I wanted to ask, are there any sort of existing plans now for more green space in the future, or is that sort of like, I know that that whole end of campus like just got finished, but are there like current plans for more green spaces?
So as you know, we're pretty landlocked for the Danforth Campus in South 40. And they're definitely not tearing down any buildings to make them into green space. But there has been discussion about evaluating the landscape around the South 40 and transforming that to be more performative, meaning like more natives, potentially edible plants. There is a lot of space that we can work with around that border. That would be, say, Wydown, Big Bend, and then some of the interior spaces as well. So looking for greater stormwater retention and those other types of functionality. We have time for maybe one more question before we wrap things up. Anyone else want to chime in? Well, with that, we'll go ahead and close things out. Want to thank everybody for taking some time for spending your happy hour with potentially some nostalgic moments of thinking back to campus, but hopefully the next time you're at campus, whether that's tomorrow or whether it's a couple years from now, we hope that you'll be able to explore these areas, and feel free to reach out to us if you have any additional questions.
This was a wonderful presentation, and you're right, it did stir some memories, and there are a lot of places to explore. Thank you so much. This has been great.
All right.
Thanks everyone.
Bye.